Right, folks, as you'll be aware, there we are, I'll just adjust that. As you'll be aware, if you're British, we've got a referendum coming up this week on whether we want to change our voting system. Currently, we have something called first past the post system, and the referendum is about whether we want to change it to something called alternative vote, AV. Now, before I talk about that briefly, let me just outline what those are, because even now, a lot of people are a bit confused. Okay, so this country is divided up into lots of little regions, little voting areas, little towns, little bits of towns, little districts, and these are called constituencies. People turn up and vote in their constituency for the candidate they want. Now, let's give you an example. In Mucky on the Wold, say, the people vote and Labour get 10,000 votes. The Tories get 9,000 votes. The Liberal Democrats get 8,000 votes. And all the other parties, UKIP, Greens, etc., they get 3,000 votes. So who wins the election? I mean, who wins that seat? Sorry, who wins that seat? Well, under first past the post, it is Labour, because they got 10,000 votes, which is more than any of the other parties. Okay, sounds good, right? The problem with that is that twice as many people didn't vote for for Labour as voted for them. 10,000 voted for Labour, but 9 for the Tories, 8 for Lib Dems and 3 for the others. That's 20,000 people who voted against Labour. And only 10,000 voted in favour, so 66% of the people are disenfranchised, one could argue. So, first past the post, the person with the most votes wins. AV, you rank the candidates. So this is my first choice candidate, this is my second choice, this is my third choice, fourth choice, until you basically don't give us stuff anymore. So it could well be the case, for example, that all the people who voted Lib Dem and all the people who voted other put down the Conservatives as their second choice, and no one put down Labour as the second choice, in which case the Conservatives would win that seat. So you see, depending on the voting system, you either get the Tories winning or Labour winning, and there are many more voting systems beside, but we've only got a referendum on AV or first past the post. Now, I'm very, very conflicted about this, and I keep swinging from one to the other. I keep thinking, oh yes, I'm going to vote yes to AV, and I'm going to vote no to AV. And let me just tell you why, and see why I'm a bit, not sure. On one hand, it doesn't seem fair that 2/3 of the electorate, and in that example is not just abstract, that sort of thing happens all the time. 2/3 of the people in our Mucky on the Wold constituency are effectively disenfranchised. On the other hand, the problem with AV is that, is it really fairer? Do I really want my second choice to win? Do I really want him to win? I don't. I want my first choice to win, but now my second or my third gets in. That just seems wrong. Also, a positive point of AV, it gets the new politics of consensus. Yes, all the politicians working together. The problem with that is you get all the politicians working together. Now, we've got a coalition government at the moment in this country. A lot of people are not very happy about it. Now, let's have a look. David Cameron was voted by AV. David Cameron is the leader of the Conservative Party because when the Conservative Party voted, they voted on an AV system. David Davis actually got the first place. He won. And under first past the post, if the Tories elected their leaders under first past the post, David Davis would have become leader of the Tories. But the thing with David Davis is he's quite a controversial guy. Lots of people love him, but pretty much no one thinks he's okay. You love the guy or you hate the guy. Whereas Cameron at the time was seen as being more bland, let's be honest, more middle ground. So whilst very few people would put Davis down as their second choice, a lot of people put Cameron down as the second choice, and it's because of that he won. Because overall he got the second most votes, as I recall, but he actually won because the other votes topped him up. The second, third choice, they topped him up, you see. The same with the Labour leader, Miliband was elected the same way. I mean, do we really want more politicians who are bland? Do we want more bland politics? I don't think so. We don't want that consensus. I think we want controversy. I think we want politicians and parties who think strong things and just go for it and don't give us stuff. I'm not in favour of AV or first past the post. I think, for example, AV Plus, which is another voting system, is possibly better. But this is the thing. Lots of people, even like Lib Dem supporters, don't want AV. They want proportional representation. Now, here's the thing that I'm worried about. If the yes vote wins and we get AV, will we be stuck with AV forever? They'll say, yeah, the decision's been made, we all want AV. And we'll never get a chance to vote on another, better system. On the other hand, what if people vote no and say, no, we want to keep first past the post? Will the politicians say the same thing and say, look, the people have spoken, we don't need to have another referendum ever? You see, what I would hope is if the no vote wins, people would say, no, because the AV is shit, we need a true referendum. And then we get another referendum. But the chances of that happening is slim. Likewise, if AV wins, that could be a crack in the dam, and then all of a sudden all these other proposals will come flying out for PR and stuff. But then again, that probably won't happen. They'll say, yeah, we've had the referendum, we're never debating this question again. So I'm a little bit concerned. So I'm not sure, am I in favour of AV, am I against it in this referendum? I don't want either system, but that's the only choice I got. Here's the thing that worries me though. Most die-hard Labour supporters will support Lib Dems as their second choice. All the polls show this. Most Lib Dems will support Labour as their second choice. All the polls show this. Most Tory voters, see, this is what counts against them. Most Tory voters, some will support Labour. Very few will support Lib Dems. Most Tory voters will vote Labour or Lib Dems. You know, when Tories go mental, like in '97, they vote Labour. So effectively, you've got the Lib Dems and Labour supporting each other, and no one's supporting the Tories. So the thing that I worry is that we're always going to have the Lib Dems as a third party, but they're going to be kingmakers every single election, which will probably lead to Lib Dems and Labour being in power, coalition partners forever. Why do I say that? Because Lib Dems are in power with the Tories right now. You see, the thing is, two factors led to the Lib Dems going in bed with the Tories and not going in bed with Labour. One, Labour had an incredibly unpopular leader in Gordon Brown. I mean, very unpopular, and everyone wanted him to go. And it would have been very bad for the Lib Dems if they had supported that guy. Secondly, the Lib Dems didn't improve. They didn't get a net gain in their seats in the last general election like everyone expected. If the Lib Dems had got 20, 30 seats more like everyone expected, and if they hadn't done so badly, in other words, and if Labour weren't led by such a muppet, I think the Lib Dems really would have gone into bed with Labour because they're much closer together politically. And, that's the thing that worries me. Do we really want Lib Dem Labour coalition forever? Now you could say, oh Brian, you're such a Tory, but the thing is I don't vote Tory. I have voted Tory, but only because Labour got out of control. If I was, in my mid-30s instead of my mid-20s, I would have voted Labour in the '97 election, which is painful for me to admit because Tony Blair turned out to be such a knobhead. But I would have voted Labour in that election because the Tories were out of control. They'd lost the plot. I have voted Tory, but only because, in the past, but only because Labour are so out of control. You see what I'm saying? I'm not Labour or Tory. I'm just like, whichever one's lost the plot, I'll vote for the other guys if there's no other choice. If it has to be one or the other, I'll vote for the one who's less mental. So, yeah, so I'm not like a Tory guy. The problem is, though, some people will be saying, yeah, Lib Dems and Labour in coalition forever, that'd be great. It wouldn't be great, though, because any political party that stays in power for more than a couple of years starts to lose the plot. The Tories came in the 1979 election. They did some good stuff. Let's be honest, the country was grim. I mean, this country was grim. Okay, and they boosted stuff up and they did a lot of good. But then they stayed in power for too long, they started to go mad, they lost the plot, it was disastrous. Labour, the same. I don't agree with everything they did, but when they first came in '97, they did implement quite a few things. They got on they got on implementing some of their manifesto pledges at least. They didn't do that badly, but then very quickly after a couple of years, they started to go AWOL, they started going mental. And it's just like, if any political party stays in power for more than about 6 or 7 years, pretty much universally they go nuts and they start freaking out and doing shit. So really having coalition governments all the time, bland politics, muddled politics, backroom deals, and the danger of a Labour-Lib Dem alliance forever, thereby leading to a government that's just crap and out of control, I really just don't see it working. So on balance, I'm slightly against AV and I'll probably vote no, which upsets me because I do want change and I don't want to vote for first past the post because I don't want first past the post. But first past the post, AV, I think it's going to have to be first past the post just by that much. But I may change again. before lunch. So, but you know, I hope that's the situation. That's an overview of the political, the voting systems, the political situation here, and my own personal turmoil. I hope that's been insightful to you and been interesting. Perhaps it will inform your decisions. Probably not, because I've got a toucan in the background there. Where is he? There, a toucan. So that's, you know, I'm clearly don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah, cool guys. Yeah.